Hello and welcome. I'm Mirai, and today we're gonna go through everything that I read in July. July was not a good month for me reading my TBR, but I did read a lot of really great books, especially a lot of thrillers. I feel like I almost exclusively listen to thrillers, like for my audio selections, which is like the majority of the books I read. First, let's go through the books I didn't get to for my TBR. It's a pretty hefty stack. I have decent reasons for these. So first, a book about a subject I'm passionate about, Lessons in Chemistry. I've been like slowly reading this. I don't know why, I just haven't really felt as in the mood for this, and I don't want to read it when I'm like not fully ready. But I got to page like 56. I do like it. I think it's really well written. Just haven't gotten into it yet. That's that. Okay, and then a book with fire on the cover, Christine. I also read like 18 pages of this, just like the prologue and the first chapter. And I mean, it's Stephen King, so of course it's really good. I just didn't feel like I was in the mood to read a thriller or horror. And then a book that features dragons. We had Iron Flame, which I felt like I was in a bit of a slump. I just didn't really feel like committing to anything. That's why I feel like I read the books I physically read, I feel like were just a lot simpler and easier to read. But I read the first chapter of Iron Flame, and this one I wasn't like immediately sucked in. I feel like it picks up immediately where it left off in Fourth Wing. So I think if you read Fourth Wing and then Iron Flame immediately afterwards, maybe it would go better. But I wasn't feeling the writing style as much. I might as well just pick this up in December, like right before the next book comes out, Onyx Storm. So I might as well wait on this one. I should just take out my bookmark. I have bookmarks in all three of these. Isn't it cute? But I did not get to those. I keep like bringing my books over from my previous TBR, like that I didn't read. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just read them the next month. And then I just keep moving them over month to month. I just never get to them. Anyways, the books I did read. First we had Work Rivals Trope. For this I had Book Lovers and Practice Makes Perfect, kind of. Neither of them are like really quite work rivals, but I think Book Lovers is closer. Book Lovers is about literary agent Nora, who goes on vacation. She's a workaholic, but she, after her sister does some convincing, goes on vacation to Sunshine Falls and runs into the annoying editor, Charlie, who had previously rejected one of her books for, one of her writers. So a little bit of rivals in that sense, that she was annoyed with him, that he didn't want to work with her on a book. They, of course, fall in love as they work on editing another book that Charlie actually was excited about. And as they go through Nora's small town bucket list that her sister gave her to complete. It is another Emily Henry book, and I must say she did it again. I absolutely loved Book Lovers. I gave it 5 stars. I still think Funny Story is my favorite. I don't know where Book Lovers and Beach Read stand, but I really like Book Lovers. It was good. Highly recommend it for the Emily Henry fans. Okay, Practice Makes Perfect. It's not work rivals in the slightest. Annie is a flower shop owner, and she ends up being convinced to get tutoring lessons from the hot bodyguard, what's his name? Will, on how to date, because Annie apparently is really bad at dating. She's just boring and awkward on first dates. So, yeah. It was fun overall. Just like a short, easy, quick read. Nothing that deep. I enjoyed Practice Makes Perfect. I'll definitely pick up other of Sarah Adams' books. But yeah, a solid 4. And then I had an author you've never read, so I picked up Caraval by Stephanie Garber. And now on my TBR for August, I have the second book, which is Legendary. So I obviously enjoyed this a little bit. I give it 4 stars overall. I mean, I thought it was really good. Honestly, it might be a little bit of like a 4.25 situation. I really liked it. I know some people, I've seen like a lot of people not like Caraval that much, but I think it's a really solid book. I think it's well written, and I think the story flows really well. Essentially, in Caraval, 2 sisters, Tella and Scarlet, enter a magical and dangerous competition, Caraval, where the goal this year ends up being to find Tella, who is the sister, and who got kidnapped on, like, before the first night. And the reward for the competition is a wish, any wish. So we have magic, legend, and the danger of being swept away in the game, blurring the lines between magic and reality. The lines do get blurred, and I think that adds to, like, how good of a book it is, you know? I think it was done really well. I think the lines were blurred well. You know, the movie in my head was really movieing while I was reading this. I think the scenes were quite focused scenes. And I think it's always fun reading books that I've heard so many other people talk about, because, like, when we meet Julian in this, I'm like, wait, that name is familiar. Like, is he the love interest? And it was just exciting to, like, read about characters that I've heard people gush about, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. And the final book for my TBR was the one with an oxymoron in the title, so I picked The Paradise Problem. This was another fantastic book. I gave it 4 stars. Again, another one where I feel like could have been like 4.25, maybe just a little extra. Essentially, The Paradise Problem is a fake dating marriage of convenience between Anna, who needs cheap housing for college, and Liam, who needs to be in a happy marriage for 5 years in order to get his inheritance. So, yeah, kind of classic marriage of convenience billionaire situation. They, like, go to this private island with the most excessive, everything is just the most excessive it can possibly be because of how wealthy these people are, and it's kind of ridiculous, and it's kind of great. I really enjoyed it. Book Lovers and Practice Makes Perfect both had, like, a little bit of spice, maybe, but not much. Not much that I would, like, really remember it. 1 spicy, 2 spicies, 1 spicy. I'm just gonna give them both 1 spicy because I don't remember anything, really. And then The Paradise Problem, 2 spicies. I don't know. That feels right. Not a lot. Like, if you don't like spice, I think this is fine. A lot of books that were just, like, really easy to read. Like, if you want something easy to read, easy, fun, cute, little bit of comedy, a little bit of humor, I think The Paradise Problem is a great pick. Out of all the books so far, the most humorous, I must say. And then we have Happily Never After, which I actually didn't read the physical copy. I don't even know why I got this. I don't need this. But I listened to the audio version, and it was cute. It was fun. I ended up giving it 3 stars. Not, like, as cute and fun as the other books. Wasn't as connected to the characters and the story, maybe. Anyways, so essentially, Sophie hires Max to be the objector at her wedding, and then she falls in love with him as she helps him break up more weddings. Because, you know, there's a decent amount of money in that business. You'd be surprised at how much they pay you. Yeah, so it was cute, kind of funny. A really easy read, honestly. Like, how many this is, like, under 300 pages. Yeah. 275. Like, a really quick, easy rom-com. I feel like it kind of reminds me of, like, a chick flick rom-com movie. A lot of Lynn Painter. I don't know how much of Lynn Painter I've read. I've read Happily Never After and Accidentally Amy, and they both give rom-com chick flick vibes. I think I liked the audio form of Happily Never After. I just, like, wasn't very invested in it. It was fun. I really like chick flicks. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, sometimes that it's like exactly what I want. And I'm kind of upset that my boyfriend doesn't want to watch more chick flicks with me because that's what I want out of life. Ice cream and chick flicks. You can't only watch chick flicks, you know? Like, you can, but you might just turn to mush, is how it really is. Then I listened to The Song of Achilles, which I really didn't start off well with my audiobooks. The Song of Achilles was another meh for me. I liked it. I liked the characters, but I just wasn't that into it. I wasn't really invested. It's a Greek mythology retelling of Achilles and his best friend and lover, Patroclus. Good, well written. Just didn't draw me in as much as I would have liked. And I found myself excited for it to be over and to get to the next book. It was good. Maybe it just wasn't the right time for me to read it. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mood. That's how it was. It was meh. And then I read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and oh my goodness, I could not put this down. Like, I could not stop reading. I was reading it every moment I could. Like, in the car driving while my boyfriend was driving, I'd read a few pages. At the grocery store, just a page. I gave it 4.5 stars. It wasn't quite at 5 stars, but like, it was, depending on my mood, you know, I could change it. I mean, it was pretty lighthearted. It wasn't that serious, you know, but I loved it. I had so much fun. I really like Ali Hazelwood. It's a fake dating romance between a biology PhD candidate, Olive, and one of the professors, Adam, who is a complete hard ass. And he has a bit of a reputation, but of course he has a little bit of a soft spot for Olive. And, you know, he has his reasons for being a hard ass. He's not a horrible person, you know. Anyways, it was really fun. It was really cute. Definitely more spicy. I didn't write down my spicy ratings as I was reading. I usually do, but I didn't this time. 3 spicies or 4 spicies? Definitely a lot spicier. Let's put it that way. All the books so far, I like have to really think to remember any scenes at all. I'm like, did they just like kiss or did something happen? The Love Hypothesis, there were definitely spicy scenes. So 3 spicies. I'm gonna just stick with 3. And then we got into my thriller audiobooks, which was basically just the rest of everything that I listened to this month. It was fantastic. I loved it. But we started with Only If You're Lucky, which, fun fact, it had fire on the cover, so I basically did complete that TBR prompt. It was just with a different book. Anyways, but Lucy, the roommate and ringleader of the friend group, goes missing after the frat boy next door is murdered. And of course, she becomes a bit of a suspect. There's a lot of like time jumps in this, which I kind of like when time jumps are done well. Like when you read a book and you follow 2 separate timelines and it's done well, it's like really great because like when they line it up so that when you reach the end, like you're learning what happened in the past at the same time that like the craziness comes out in the present. You know, the culmination of the story just intersects. But I think it was done really well. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I mean, it's like a different vibe of book. It's just, I feel like it's just written in a completely different format than these like fun little books are written in. It's more of like the literary fiction format, if you catch my drift. It's more of that format, but it was good. It was great. I loved it. 4.5. Then I listened to Talent for Murder, which both of these were Book of the Month books recently, I feel like. So I tend to listen to a lot of the Book of the Month books on audio, and it's great. But anyways, Talent for Murder. So Martha suspects her husband is a serial killer and recruits her old friend from college to investigate. I think that is like one of the most fun ideas for a book. Like, I just married this man and I'm realizing he may be a serial killer. So fun. So fun. But it is a lot more complicated than that. So many shocking moments in this book. I don't even know how to say it without it being a spoiler. But, like, prepare to be shocked and, like, a little distraught because I was a little hurt with what they did in this book. A little hurt, okay? It was good. 4 stars. I'm telling you, it's, like, purely vibes. Like, I guess I just like the format of If You're Lucky slightly better. I think in Only If You're Lucky, you get a little more in-depth into, like, the relationships in the story, and you get a little more background on the characters, and I think I just felt more connected to the characters in Only If You're Lucky. But Talent for Murder was really fun. So, I mean, I can definitely see someone liking Talent for Murder better. Like, they're pretty close, honestly. Okay, then I was looking for something a little easy, a little mindless. I read Whistleblower. I've been, like, getting book subscriptions from Probably Smut. A little scandalous. And I hadn't read any of them yet, and I felt kind of bad because I was getting these books every month, and I'm like, do I even like them, you know? So I kept staring at them, and I mean, I think this cover is gorgeous. I really like it. I think it really fits with the vibe of the book and, like, the story in the book. I just really wanted to read this. I wasn't expecting anything, like, mind-blowingly fantastic, but it definitely did its job in being just an easy book to pick up while I was, like, kind of in a reading slump. It didn't cure my reading slump, but, like, while I was reading it, I was happy, you know? I think that's how I felt in my slump. I felt like I was in a reading slump, but every book that I was picking up that was, like, light and easy and fun, like, requiring no brain power, I was just flying through them. But then once they were done, I was like, I don't know what to read. Like, not really feeling anything. So in Whistleblower, Eden becomes a social pariah after exposing her company to the FBI. And everybody loved that company, so they hate her. Then her next job, she becomes kind of like HR for the secret division of assassins in the FBI. She has a little bit of a romance with Link, who is the most lethal assassin in the group. So it's a bit of a dark romance. I mean, it looks like a dark romance. I feel like the quotes on the back are kind of embarrassing. You be the light in this dark, depressing world. Let me be the big bad wolf. Kind of embarrassing to read out loud, but you know. It was fun. It was easy. It was mindless. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't think it was going to be a 5-star book going in, but I feel like I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to. I thought it was going to be a little more mindless than it was, I guess. Definitely a lot spicier. I would say 4 spices, but, like, very condensed. Maybe, like, 2 scenes, like 5 pages total. I think very easily skippable. And, like, even, like, when there's no spiciness going on, it's not like they're talking about any kind of, like, romance or physical touch stuff, you know? It's very, like, people being murdered and whatnot. So, yeah. A little gorier than the other books. Okay, then I feel like this is what happens when I am a little bit of a slump. Then I listened to Seatmate, which is another classic Cara Stone romance. I love it. This one takes place, like, exclusively on a road trip. A little bit of a bus seatmate meet cute. So, very cute. I liked our characters in this. It was fun. 3 stars. Exactly what I want out of Cara Stone. I don't know how else to say it. That's what I wanted to read. I mean, I think it was, like, very short. Just a few hours. And a nice little palette cleanser. So I can move on to the next book. Then I read Apples Never Fall. This one was a little harder for me to get into. I listened to it, like, very slowly to start with. I did enjoy it, though. I gave it 3 stars overall. It could have been closer to 4, maybe like 3.5. I did end up liking the story and the characters. I do like the characters in the story. I like the relationships. I thought it was fun. You're following a family in the story. Kind of funny, the ending. But basically a mom goes missing and everyone is freaking out. And they kind of suspect that her husband killed her. And she's missing for a long time. So they don't even start worrying until like a week or two has passed. Then we have Gone Tonight, which is definitely more thriller. So in this one, the secret past of a mother resurfaces and threatens to tear apart her relationship with her daughter. To be fair, the mother is like telling a lot of lies. She's like very much controlling her daughter's life. At the beginning, I was kind of like, this mother is crazy. Like, she's mentally insane. But then I was like, no, she's doing the right thing. Like, that's exactly what she should have done. Which is crazy to think. But anyways, yeah, it was good. 4 stars, solid. Not my favorite thriller I read over the month. I think it was a little slower for me to get into again. But I did end up really liking it, so. And then I read The Cruel Prince, which I don't know what I was expecting. Like, for some reason, I kind of thought I wasn't going to enjoy it that much because it's like a YA fantasy, but I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I gave it 4 stars. I am really excited to continue the series. I want to pick up the next book. It was good. I do recommend it. Essentially, we follow Jude, who is a human living among fairies that hate her, and she is seeking power, you know, which is what you do when you're surrounded by creatures immensely more powerful than you. The worst of which of those creatures are a prince and his cronies who bully her constantly to the point where they're like kind of trying to kill her, like right in front of everyone, which is ridiculous. Yeah. But, however, this took me a while to figure out. You can skip this if you want. That prince, I mean, it's kind of like the point of the book. That prince also secretly can't stand how much he wants her. Fun fact, this was also my 100th book of the year, which, crazy. I've hit my reading goal. We are like halfway through the year. I don't really want to change my reading goal because I kind of feel like I should slow down my reading pace, you know? I don't need to read 200 books this year. I should probably do more things with my life, but it is what it is. And then finally, my last book, another thriller, of course, that I listened to on audio. We have Never Lie. This was a banger. This was a 5-star read. I loved this. So essentially, a husband and wife get trapped in an abandoned mansion of a therapist who was likely murdered, and it's the middle of a snowstorm, so that's why they're trapped. And the wife finds the therapist's tapes of her with her patients and listens to them and like uncovers the mysteries behind the therapist's past and likely what led to her murder. Also, while they are trapped in the snowstorm, the wife highly suspects that there is someone else in the house with them. Possibly the therapist's murderer. That seems like a likely one. Or, I don't know if she suspected this, but I suspected this. Maybe the therapist herself wasn't actually murdered and she was just hiding out in the house. That's what I thought. I was kind of waiting for the therapist to come out and murder them the whole time, but I mean, whoever was in the house, I was waiting for them to come out and murder them. A lot of twists in this book. So they it's like the whole time while I was reading this, I was like, oh, for sure this is what's going on. I know exactly where this is going. I see it like 100 miles out. So obvious. Not obvious. Not in the slightest. Like the last hour of reading, I was just like whammed with twist after twist. I did not suspect a thing. Like, we would be like a page away from like finding out who the murderer was, and I was like, I have no idea who it is. It was like, wait, the person I thought it was, I don't think that's who it was, but I don't know who else it could possibly be. And then, bam, it was a good one. Up until the end, crazy. I really enjoyed that. I highly recommend. Never lie. If you like thrillers, highly recommend. I completely forgot about one of the last books I read, First Lie Wins. I actually also listened to this one in the audiobook form, but I do have the physical copy. It'll just never be read, I guess. This was another 4-star thriller, a great month for thrillers. Who would have thought July would be the month of thrillers? But I really enjoyed this. I thought this was more of a unique storyline. In it, we follow Evie, but Evie's actually operating under a false identity. The job she has, she only gets information like in very small bits. Like first it's go to this town, and then like 2 weeks later it's get close to this person. Like very slowly she learns what the actual mission is. So she's living in the South, moving in with her boyfriend, her like boyfriend she was supposed to get close to, trying to figure out what the mission is so she can be prepared. When she meets someone who is using her identity, and that's where things start to get a little suspicious. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't know why in my head I have this idea that like thrillers are supposed to be like kind of scary. I don't really think that's the case. I mean, it's thrilling because you don't know what's gonna happen, and she is in danger. She could die, because why is somebody pretending to be her? But I mean, it's not a horror. It's not actually terrifying. I'm not quaking in my boots. But yeah, it was good. I recommend it if you are at all interested in thrillers. My favorite thriller of the month was Never Lie, but this one was also very good. And another book of the month book. So I've been reading a lot of book of the month books. That was the last book of my July reading. Overall, a great month, 10 out of 10. Do recommend. Let me know down below what books you guys read this month and what books you absolutely loved that I should pick up. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!